It's one of the busiest intersections in University Heights, and it's closed right now. That's because of a deadly crash.
Intersections are the most dangerous places you'll encounter while driving. According to the DOT, more than 50% of all motor vehicle accidents involving injuries or fatalities occur at or near an intersection. In this lesson, we'll discuss the factors that make intersections dangerous, cover different types of intersections, and examine fundamental safety techniques to use at intersections. Why are intersections dangerous? Here are several reasons. You must be alert to and obey a variety of traffic signals, signs, and regulations. You may need to make a turn at an intersection. You must be alert to vehicles and pedestrians who disobey traffic lights, signs, and regulations. And other drivers may try to turn in front of your vehicle. According to NTHSA, a driver running a red light or failing to stop for a stop sign are the leading causes of fatal accidents at intersections. You never know what another driver will do or not do at an intersection, so you must always drive defensively for yourself and your customers. There are several different types of intersections, and they all have a variety of traffic controls. Intersections can be regulated by stop signs, four-way stops, traffic lights, yield signs, flashing lights, or police-controlled traffic. Protected intersections are those protected by control devices or traffic control signals.
A protected intersection is also called a controlled intersection because traffic is regulated by traffic signals or road signs. An official traffic control device is defined as any sign, signal, marking, or device put in place by a public body or official having jurisdiction for the purpose of regulating, warning, or guiding traffic. An unprotected intersection, also called an uncontrolled intersection, is one where there are no devices to control traffic from any direction. Uncontrolled intersections are regulated only by the right-of-way rules. These intersections can also be dangerous because of limited visibility, which can be caused by buildings, trees, agricultural growth, or weather conditions.
When you're approaching an intersection with a one-way street, focus your attention on the direction the traffic is coming from on the one-way street. However, don't forget to check against the traffic flow as well. There might be a vehicle driving the wrong way, or bicyclists and pedestrians may be approaching from the other direction as well. Roundabouts pose special issues for transit vehicles. Follow these procedures for entering and exiting roundabouts.
As you approach the roundabout, read the signage to gain information about lane use recommendations. As you reach the roundabout, slow your vehicle. Be ready to stop at the entrance if necessary. Yield to approaching traffic before entering the roundabout and merging with traffic. Drive at the posted speed limit. Check your mirrors often. Signal to exit the roundabout.
When two or more vehicles arrive at an uncontrolled intersection, such as a four-way stop at approximately the same time, follow these guidelines.
Try to establish eye contact with the other drivers. The vehicle that reaches the intersection first should proceed first. The vehicle on the right should proceed next. That pattern should continue onto the next vehicle on the right. Since many drivers are confused by four-way stops, be prepared to give the right-of-way to vehicles that go out of turn. Always be prepared to yield the right-of-way.
Let's review some basic fundamental techniques for safety at all intersections. At all intersections where vehicles are required to stop, you'll see a limit line. A limit line is a solid white line extending fully or partially across the roadway to indicate the point where traffic is required to legally stop. All intersections also have pedestrian crossings. These crossings can either be marked or unmarked. As a professional operator, you need to always be aware of these crossings and make sure you give pedestrians the right of way. At intersections with stop signs, always be cautious and give the right of way to any vehicle that reaches the stop sign at the same time you do. If a vehicle is approaching and you aren't sure it's going to stop, don't move your vehicle until you're certain the other vehicle will come to a stop. Whenever possible, try to get eye-to-eye contact with the other driver before moving forward as a way of communicating your intentions. As a professional operator, follow these guidelines at all intersections.
Always stop before the limit line so your vehicle isn't in the crosswalk. Always be on the lookout for pedestrians and bicyclists. Observe the rules of the road for the stoplight, stop sign, or yield sign facing you. To avoid collisions, always yield the right of way. If two vehicles coming from opposite directions arrive at an intersection at the same time, the vehicle turning left should yield the right of way. Even if you have the right of way, never assume the other driver will yield, slow down, or stop.
When approaching an intersection, always cover your brake and be prepared to stop. Before proceeding through an intersection, always allow the intersection to clear after you stopped. When the intersection is clear, look left, look right, look left again, then look straight, rock and roll to address blind spot issues.
Proceed with caution. A yield sign means you must be prepared to stop and give the right of way to traffic approaching the intersection. A red flashing light is the same as a stop sign. Come to a complete stop, obey right-of-way laws, and proceed when it's safe to do so. A yellow flashing light is a warning. Proceed with caution, stay alert, and be willing to stop if necessary.
There's a big difference in how to approach a traffic light that has just turned green and one that has been green for a while.
A fresh green light means the light just turned green. When your vehicle is stopped at an intersection and you're waiting for the light to turn green, make sure to pause for 3 seconds before accelerating and moving forward through the intersection. This gives you time to scan the intersection for hazards, such as drivers running a red light or pedestrians still in the crosswalk. Always look left, right, left prior to proceeding. During your 3-second pause during the first second as you begin to look. Look left, right, left for the second second. Then lift your foot off the brake to move to the accelerator for the third second. A stale green light means the light has been green for a while and could possibly change before your vehicle is completely through the intersection. Slow down and cover your brake. If the light turns yellow and then red before you reach the intersection, you'll be able to stop safely.
So far, we've covered rules to follow when you're at an intersection. Now let's take a look at procedures when you're approaching an intersection, because your work really begins before you even arrive at the intersection. When approaching an intersection, never trust your ability to time a light change. Look ahead at least 1 block and check the traffic light. Is it red, a stale green, or a fresh green light? That's just one of the things you need to know before you even get to an intersection. Let's review safety precautions to follow when approaching an intersection. Look ahead and determine if the intersection is a controlled intersection. If it's controlled, read the traffic situation. If there's a traffic light, determine if it's a stale green light. Yellow is the new red. Never rush a yellow light. Yellow means you should be preparing to stop. Start braking smoothly to a stop as soon as you see a yellow or red light or a stop sign. Cover your brake when approaching an intersection and reduce your speed. Always be prepared for a potential hazard at an intersection. As you approach the stoplight or stop sign, make sure to come to a stop before the limit line and the crosswalk. Adjust to the traffic situation at the intersection.
When approaching an intersection, make sure to divide your approach into the 3 zones of an intersection at 30, 15, and 5-second parts, which we refer to as the green zone, yellow zone, and red zone of an intersection. Within 30 seconds of an intersection, you are in the green zone. During this time, eliminate all distractions. Plan ahead. Scan in all directions. Within 15 seconds of an intersection, you are in the yellow zone. Reduce your speed. Make sure you have the room you need in your lane. Look for pedestrians and bicyclists. Within 5 seconds of an intersection, you are in the red zone. Cover your brake as you get close to approaching the intersection and while you are traveling through it. Rock and roll to check for pedestrians and bicyclists. Look left, right, left through the intersection.
Remember, because of the length of your vehicle, you'll need more time to get through an intersection. Always scan for potential hazards by keeping your eyes moving and avoiding a fixed stare. Turn your head along with your eyes to expand your peripheral vision and get a wider view of any vehicle, pedestrian, or bicyclist that might be entering the intersection. Rock and roll to see around your blind spots. Prepare for the unexpected. Look for pedestrians, bicyclists, and other vehicles that could suddenly cross your path. When you share the road with other drivers, don't take intersections for granted. They're the most dangerous part of driving. Stay focused, follow the safety rules we just discussed, and be aware of other drivers coming to the intersection who are often not paying attention. Always adhering to the safety rules of the 3 zones of an intersection and planning ahead for the inattention of others will help you and your customers stay safe.
According to the National Safety Council, or NSC, 38% of Americans, more than 54 million people, report being sleep deprived. In other words, a significant amount of the American workforce is subject to fatigue. Fatigue is the body's response to sleep deprivation or lengthy physical or mental hard work. Risk factors related to fatigue include long work hours, a heavy workload, lack of sleep, environmental factors, and medical conditions. Plus, effects of fatigue can include slower reaction time, more errors, and decreased cognitive ability. Curious if you might be subject to fatigue? Well, the NSC identifies 5 causes of workplace fatigue that you should watch out for. 1. Time of day. Shift workers, especially those on the night shift, are most vulnerable to fatigue. This is because of the body's circadian rhythm, which is essentially a 24-hour internal clock that cycles your brain between sleepiness and alertness at regular intervals. So, if you're used to going to bed at 10 p.m., but your shift tonight starts at 12 a.m., your body won't be happy about it. 2. Sleep deprivation. One major cause of fatigue is sleep debt, which occurs when a person loses a significant amount of sleep or stays awake for a long period of time. The problem is that sleep deprivation can accumulate, and significant sleep debt can result in chronic fatigue. Plus, sleep disorders, chronic diseases, and even medications can decrease one's quantity and quality of sleep, which will inevitably increase fatigue. 3. Task time. According to the NSC, Individuals will experience fatigue the longer they partake in a specific task. See, a person's ability to remain focused on simple and repetitive tasks is limited. So, tasks like long-haul driving, working on an assembly line, and baggage screening can easily lead to fatigue. It's also important to note the time on task effect, which is the gradual increase in the amount of effort required to maintain the same level of performance on a task over time. In other words, the longer we're required to perform a tedious task, the more our attention, speed, and accuracy decline. Plus, time on task fatigue becomes worse as a result of extended wakefulness, working night shifts, or both. 4. Personal factors. Believe it or not, some people are simply more prone to fatigue than others. Personal factors such as age or medical conditions can play a big role. For instance, studies show that people over 40 years old have a harder time adjusting to night shifts. Plus, sleep disorders such as insomnia and sleep apnea are associated with reduced safety and productivity in the workplace and increased risk of traffic accidents. Other personal factors include gender, socioeconomic status, physical and mental health, endurance, genetic predisposition, need for sleep, diet and nutrition, physical activity level, body mass index, personality traits, substance use, medication use, family and marital status, job status, and fatigue awareness. And 5, work factors. Some jobs are just more likely to fatigue employees due to elements related to types of tasks, the working environment, and the organization. Some factors known to increase the risk of fatigue among workers are noise and poor indoor air quality. On the other hand, exposure to bright light has been shown to increase alertness and reduce fatigue. Plus, organizational factors like safety culture, employee engagement, leadership commitment, and supervisor support can help prevent fatigue-related incidents. Other factors that can affect employee fatigue are company size, type of industry, existence of a fatigue risk management system, work scheduling policies, and employee compensation. So, now that we know what causes fatigue in the workplace, it's time to discuss the many adverse effects it can have. Consider the 5 factors that are negatively affected by fatigue according to the NSC. 1. Cognitive performance. Extensive research has shown that fatigue leads to decreases in cognitive performance. Short-term memory, concentration, performance speed, reaction time, executive function, psychomotor activity, alertness, accuracy, and judgment. But the most consistently affected are attention, vigilance, and memory performance. 2. Work performance. Work performance, including productivity, decreases as employees become fatigued. These negative impacts on performance have been most notably observed in shift work, rotating shifts, night shifts, early start times, working overtime or long hours, and employees with sleeping problems. 3. Safety performance. Individuals working night shifts, rotating shifts, or long hours are at an increased risk of safety incidents. In fact, data from the NSC tells us that approximately 13% of work injuries could be attributed to sleep problems. Plus, there's a nearly 30% increased risk of safety incidents during night shifts compared to morning shifts. In fact, night shift workers are 3 times more likely to be injured in a workplace incident compared to day shift workers. But it gets even worse. One study demonstrated a 2-fold increase in safety risk in a 12-hour shift compared to an 8-hour shift. And it's estimated that 19% of vehicle crashes are attributed to drowsy driving. That's a whole lot of safety risk. 4. Health consequences. Shift workers, those who work long hours, and those who are sleep deprived are at a higher risk of some major health consequences. These include vehicle crashes, obesity, psychological disorders such as anxiety and depression, musculoskeletal disorders, reproductive problems, diminished immune response, and numerous chronic diseases, including hypertension, cardiovascular disease, gastrointestinal disease, cancer, and diabetes. And 5, economic consequences. Research shows that fatigue causes decreased productivity, reduced safety performance, and poor health, which can lead to overall increased costs to employers and society. Overall, a fatigued individual will experience a decrease in their ability to perform basic cognitive functions, resulting in a decline in attention, vigilance, and memory. These decreases in cognitive performance lead to a subsequent decline in job safety and overall performance. So, an individual will become less productive, thus increasing their risk of a negative safety incident. To overcome fatigue, we have to understand it in all of its severity. Knowing what causes fatigue can show us what to avoid, and knowing the adverse effects of fatigue shows us just how important it is to take this issue seriously. Bottom line, fatigue can be avoided, but first, it must be understood.
To get healthy and stay that way, you need to eat right. Basically, all those things you've heard since grade school about needing to eat well-balanced meals are true. Diet and nutrition are like the guardrails on the road to being fit and well. They keep you on course. So cut down on red meat and heavy milk products. They're full of saturated fats, which can set up roadblocks in your arteries and cause heart disease. Eat more poultry, fish, and low-fat cheese instead, and drink 1 or 2% milk. Did you know that beans are rich in protein and low in fat? When done up right, they can be a delicious substitute for red meat. Give them a try. You should also eat whole grain breads and cereals. These are richer in nutrients as well as fiber. Fresh fruits and vegetables are also important. A healthy diet can also help keep your weight down. Being overweight ups your chances of heart disease and high blood pressure. These are 2 problems you can do without. If you are carrying around too many pounds, put together a weight control plan. First, think about how you would like to look. Thinking about the future you gives you something to shoot for, and it's great for motivating yourself. Visit your doctor for a physical and find out just how much weight he feels you should lose. Then set reasonable goals for yourself. Losing 1 or 2 pounds a week should be doable. And when you lose that extra weight, you want to keep it off. So stay away from crazy crash diets. The pounds you lose on those programs often come right back. Work instead to cut out your bad habits and make healthier eating a permanent part of your life. Get a notebook and write down what you eat and when you eat it. Are you taking in too much fatty food? How about snacking between meals? Work to eliminate those habits and replace them with good ones. Diets alone won't get you fit. Diets alone won't get you fit. To stay on the road to wellness, you have to exercise. Not only do you need to burn off the calories you take in, you need to tone those muscles and increase your stamina. There are other benefits to exercise as well. For instance, a good exercise program can dramatically lower your risk of heart disease and stroke. Remember to begin every exercise session with stretching. This will keep you from straining a muscle or a ligament. Do some light warm-ups. Once you're loosened up, you can move on to some aerobic exercise. Ride a bike, go for a run, even fast walking will do it. This gets your heart pumping faster, which helps to condition both it and your lungs. Consult a chart to find out how high you can safely get your heart rate, and try to get close to that level. This will help you get the full benefit from your workout. Be sure to pace yourself. Don't try to do too much right off the bat. There are other benefits from working out as well. For instance, a good program will not only keep your heart going strong, it can help to lower your blood pressure too. Exercising can also give you a more positive self-image, and that can give you the strength to overcome other challenges you may encounter along the road to fitness and wellness. Another key to wellness is managing stress. Stress is easy to find, but hard to get rid of. Many people see stress as a normal part of their job or home life, so they just accept it. Stress is normal, but only in small doses. Too much stress can make it hard for us to relax and think clearly. It can bring on emotional problems and even cause physical ailments like high blood pressure, back and muscle pain, and ulcers. When stress threatens to run us off the road to wellness, it's high time to take action to relieve it. What we have to do is learn to bleed off our stress before it does any damage. A great way to do this is through deep breathing exercises. First, get comfortable. Then simply inhale deeply through your nose and exhale slowly through your mouth. Keep this up until the stress drains out of you. Stretching exercises work in much the same way. They're great for relieving tension. Here's one for the upper back. Pull the wrist of one arm across to the opposite shoulder. Hold it for a 5 count. Then do the same with the other arm. This one's for your neck and shoulders. Carefully turn your head to one side. Hold it there for a 3 count. Then turn to the other side for another 3. Now dip your chin down to your chest. Then pull your head back. Do these occasionally throughout the day or when you start feeling stiff and strained. They really can help. You can also fight stress by taking the time to enjoy life more and to get active. Go on outings, take up a sport, do something just for you. But if you find your stress is hard to shake, remember you don't have to do it by yourself. Seeing a professional counselor can help you build the skills you need to handle it successfully. One health problem that often goes hand in hand with stress is high blood pressure. This is a major league problem that can lead to a stroke, kidney failure, even blindness. The best way to fight it is through early detection, so make sure you get regular checkups. If your blood pressure is up there, your doctor will probably ask you to make a few simple changes. He'll most likely tell you to get more exercise and use less salt on your food. But remember, a healthy diet doesn't have to be bland. Getting a little creative in the kitchen can be fun, and it definitely beats having a stroke or developing heart disease. By now, all of us have heard about the hazards of smoking, maybe the most dangerous of the negative lifestyle factors. Just take a look at the warning label on a pack of cigarettes. Smokers risk heart disease, emphysema, lung and other cancers, and for women, problem pregnancies. So how do we get off the tobacco truck and get back on the road to wellness? Well, some of us go cold turkey, kicking the habit all at once. But most of us are better suited to tapering off a little at a time until we reach our quit date. The first step is to get a handle on when and why we smoke. Is it after meals? During breaks? In the car? Write down these times, then work toward change. If having a morning cup of coffee makes you want a cigarette, drink something else, like juice or tea. Rather than having an after-dinner cigarette, have a piece of chewing gum instead, while you take a walk around the block or play with the dog. Before you know it, you'll be skipping a few smokes each day, and you'll be well on the way to quitting altogether. If you stumble, don't give up. Get help if you need it. Find a supportive friend who's going through the same thing and work to quit together. Another health risk we all need to avoid is drinking too much alcohol. Take a look at a warning label on a bottle of liquor or a can of beer. If that doesn't scare you, nothing will. Drinking too much can lead to chronic liver and stomach problems. Brain cells can also be damaged, which can affect your ability to learn. Remember, alcohol is toxic. The buzz you feel is actually a form of poisoning. That's why they call it intoxication. That's also where a hangover comes from. If you're going to drink, you must know your limit. An occasional drink or two every once in a while is probably okay, but any more than that is generally too much. If you find yourself having too many, make a behavior change. When you're at a party and reach your limit, switch to juice or club soda with a twist. Don't let peer pressure change your mind. Then there's drugs. Many prescription and even over-the-counter drugs can be dangerous. With prescriptions, make sure to follow your doctor's instructions and always read labels and printed directions. Remember, many drugs cause drowsiness, and some can interact dangerously with other medicines and alcohol. What can we say about illegal drugs? Simply that they're illegal for a reason. They may give you a temporary high, but they will always have significant physical and mental side effects. The good feeling is artificial and short-term, but the negative side effects sure aren't. And remember, if you have a problem with drugs or alcohol, it affects the lives of everyone around you. If someone tries to help, don't push them away.